Hello, I'm Paul Walker from the GH Spoilers YouTube channel. Today is a crazy, rain-soaked Thursday here in New York, which honestly perfectly matches the absolute hurricane of news we have to dissect today. Welcome back to the channel, and grab your coffee, because we are diving straight into the deep end of the madness. Okay, I literally cannot believe this. Can we please process this mess together? Might delete this later. But I seriously can't stay silent about this anymore. It is currently 3 a.m., my eyes are burning. I am running on 0 sleep, 3 stale energy drinks, and pure unadulterated narrative rage. This decade-long journey of watching Port Charles residents make the absolute worst decisions known to human history has finally pushed me over the edge. I am ditching the script. I am breaking all the filters. You are getting the raw, unfiltered, hard truths right now. Because my brain is a chaotic feedback loop of transcendent hype and absolute betrayal. Please tell me I'm not the only one losing my mind over this. The legacy characters are carrying the show on their backs, while others are single-handedly testing my sanity. And I am going to call every single one of them out right here, right now. Listen, we desperately need to talk about Nina Reeves. Basically, Nina has been operating under the delusion that she is some sort of criminal mastermind, and honestly, it is the most embarrassing thing I have ever witnessed on my screen. Look at the facts. She grabbed the wrong syringe, lunged at Valentin and accidentally chemically detained a federal WSB agent on her daughter's living room rug. And what was her grand solution to this catastrophic blunder? To just sneak into General Hospital and finish the job. Honestly, the sheer audacity of this woman is a total game changer, but not in a good way. It is a major flex of pure, unfiltered stupidity. She actually thought she could just waltz into a highly secure medical facility past the nurse's station and pump Jack Brennan full of another dose of Drew Kane's paralytic medicine to keep him silenced and locked in forever. Wait, why are we like this? Why do we root for characters who would literally leave a neon-lit trail of breadcrumbs leading directly to their own destruction? Let us set the scene, because the visual of this is low-key my new obsession. General Hospital. The beeping monitors. The sterile smell of bleach and antiseptic. The harsh fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Jack Brennan is lying there in the ICU. Completely incapacitated, locked in his own body like a prisoner behind his own eyes. Elizabeth Baldwin is on duty, and she is already highly suspicious because she knows Brennan suffered a sudden stroke in the exact same house where Drew Kane had a mysterious stroke just months prior. Liz is a veteran nurse. She knows when the math is not mathing. And then here comes Nina, creeping down the hallway like a cartoon villain, clutching a syringe filled with illegal paralyzing drugs. Basically, Nina is sweating, her eyes are darting around the room, and she thinks she has the perfect window of opportunity to silence Brennan for good. She leans over the bed. She raises the needle. My heart was literally pounding out of my chest. I was screaming at my monitor, Nina, do not do this. You are ruining your life. Suddenly, the absolute unthinkable happens. Just as Nina is about to plunge that lethal needle into Brennan's IV line, the man's eyes snap wide open. He wakes up. Look, I am not a medical professional, but the way Brennan just snapped out of that chemical paralysis is the most insane, high-octane twist of the century. The medicine wore off at the exact right millisecond. Brennan does not just wake up, he wakes up with a violent, terrifying vengeance. He grabs Nina's wrist with a grip of iron. The syringe clatters to the linoleum floor, rolling away like a ticking time bomb. Elizabeth Baldwin walks into the room at that exact moment, holding a patient chart, and drops it in pure, unadulterated shock. The monitors start blaring. The energy in the room redlines and hits absolute terminal velocity. This is it. This is the climax we have been waiting for. She stabbed me, Brennan roars, his voice raspy and broken, but echoing down the entire corridor of General Hospital. He points a shaking, furious finger directly at Nina Reeves. She stabbed me from behind. Honestly, the look of absolute, soul-crushing terror on Nina's face is a cinematic masterpiece. She tries to stutter out an excuse. She tries to play the victim as she always does. But Elizabeth Baldwin is already hitting the panic button. The medical staff floods the room. Hospital security is called over the intercom. Basically, Nina is trapped in a corner like a rat, and there's no Valentin to smooth talk her out of this one. Brennan is a WSB field office boss. You do not chemically paralyze a federal agent, try to finish him off in a public hospital, and expect to just walk away with a slap on the wrist. The gig is up. The entire house of cards has completely collapsed in spectacular fashion. Whoa, I've really gone off chasing butterflies into another dimension here. I am actually feeling a tiny sliver of pity for Nina because She was just trying to break up a fight in that living room, right? She didn't mean to stab Jack initially. Wait, no, scratch that. I am completely contradicting myself right now. She absolutely meant to stab someone. She just missed her target. Bringing the signal back, let's stick to the script. Nina deserves every single thing coming to her. The PCPD arrives on the scene faster than you can even blink. We are talking full sirens, badges, flashing heavy boots hitting the hospital floor. They slap the heavy metal handcuffs on Nina Reeves right there in the middle of the hospital room. The metallic click of those cuffs is the sweetest, most satisfying sound I have heard all year. She is being read her Miranda rights, hyperventilating, crying out for someone to help her. Doing the classic soap opera perp, walk through the main lobby, while the entire city of Port Charles watches in stunned, breathless silence. But wait, because Brennan is not even close to being done. This man was trapped in his own mind, lying on a rug, listening to every single word Nina and Valentin whispered to each other. He knows everything. As the paramedics are desperately checking his vitals and the cops are dragging a sobbing Nina away, Brennan drops the ultimate nuclear bomb. He looks directly at the lead PCPD detective and says, Valentin Cassadine, he is the mastermind. He orchestrated this entire illegal captivity plot. Boom. The absolute devastation of that statement, Brennan just blew the lid off the entire Cassadine conspiracy. Valentin thought he was so smart, pitching to Carly that they should hide Brennan's paralyzed body in her attic. Valentin thought he had the chessboard perfectly set, but he forgot that when you play with fire, you eventually get burned to an absolute crisp. Honestly, the fallout from this accusation is a total game changer. The PCPD does not even hesitate. They immediately contact international authorities, and within minutes, a global arrest warrant is issued for Valentin Cassadine. Interpol red notices are flying across the wire. Every port, every airport, every single border crossing is on maximum high alert. Valentin Cassadine is now the most wanted man on the planet. And where is he? Probably sitting in Carly's kitchen sipping a cup of dark roast coffee, completely oblivious to the fact that his entire criminal empire is crumbling into dust. The sheer irony of Valentin trying to protect his daughter Charlotte and manage this hostage situation, only to become a global fugitive himself, is writing at its absolute finest. I am low-key obsessed with the poetic justice of it all. It is a masterpiece of karma. Now let us pivot, because we desperately need to talk about the collateral damage of this massive explosion. And her name is Willow Kane. Look, Willow has been sitting in her house playing the innocent, sweet, perfect mother routine while literally hiding a paralyzed Drew Kane in her back bedroom. When the news hits the airwaves that Nina has been arrested for stabbing Brennan with the exact same paralytic drug, Willow's entire world shatters into a million jagged pieces. The absolute psychological horror she's experiencing right now is delicious to watch. Willow is terrified. She is pacing the hardwood floors, biting her nails down to the quick, spiraling into a deep, dark pit of pure, unadulterated panic. Why? Because Willow knows that Nina is fundamentally weak under pressure. Nina is sitting in a cold, stark interrogation room at the PCPD, facing decades in federal prison for assaulting a high-ranking WSB agent. What happens when the cops start offering Nina plea deals? What happens when they ask her where she got the highly illegal paralytic drug in the first place? Nina knows everything. Nina knows that Willow has been keeping Drew paralyzed to protect her own dark secrets. Nina knows about Jen Sidwell's lethal ultimatum to Willow that Drew must stay completely paralyzed or end up dead. If Nina flips to save her own skin, Willow's going down for kidnapping, false imprisonment, and attempted murder. Basically, Willow's realizing that her own mother holds the key to her absolute total destruction. Wait, why are we like this? Why is Willow, who used to be the moral compass of this entire show, suddenly acting like a junior mob boss running a black site prison? Honestly, I kind of love it. But I also deeply hate it. I am so conflicted. Whoa. I've really gone off chasing butterflies into another dimension again. Let's get back to the raw, visceral terror Willow is feeling right now. She recently stopped Drew from escaping when his dose wore off. She literally ripped the phone out of his hands. She is actively participating in a horrific hostage situation, and now the walls are rapidly closing in. The PCPD is going to start connecting the dots. Elizabeth Baldwin is already highly suspicious about the two strokes happening in the exact same house. It is only a matter of time before the police show up at Willow's front door with a battering ram and a search warrant. Imagine the scene when the cops finally breach Willow's house. Drew Kane is lying there, trapped in his own body, screaming on the inside, just waiting for salvation. Willow is standing there, trying to lie her way out of it just like her mother always does. The generational trauma the cyclical nature of their terrible, selfish decisions. It is a masterclass in narrative betrayal. I literally cannot believe this is happening. We are witnessing the absolute spectacular downfall of the Reeves-Kane alliance. And what about Michael? He is out there relying on Elaine, the private investigator, to set up a petty cheating trial on Harrison Chase, completely unaware that his wife is running a literal dungeon in their guest room. The comedic timing of Michael's petty custody drama clashing with Willow's international felony crimes is sending me into outer space. And let us not forget the Valentin and Carly dynamic in all of this absolute chaos. Carly has been stonewalling Ross Cullum at her front door, protecting Valentin, letting him hide out in her attic like some sort of romantic outlaw. Now that there is a global manhunt for Valentin, Carly is officially harboring an international fugitive. If the PCPD or the WSB trace Valentin back to Carly's house, she's going down with him. Jack Brennan, the man Carly used to have a scandalous romance with, is the one who pulled the trigger on this massive manhunt. The absolute tangled web of ex-lovers, federal agents, and casting chaos is blowing my mind into tiny pieces. Carly is going to absolutely lose her mind when she finds out Valentin lied to her about the severity of the Brennan situation. She is going to kick him out of the attic so fast his head will spin right off his shoulders. Listen, I am exhausted. My brain is completely fried. This show has taken my sanity, chewed it up, and spit it out onto the digital hive mind. But I am here for it. I am strapped in for this chaotic, bumpy ride. Nina is in heavy metal cuffs. Valentin is on the run from Interpol. Brennan is awake furious and out for blood. Willow is hyperventilating in her living room, just waiting for the police sirens to wail outside her window. This is the kind of raw, unscripted psychological fallout that keeps us coming back for more, year after year, decade after decade. I am dumping my unedited psychic damage onto you guys because I need the only circle that speaks this language to witness my existential collapse. We are in the endgame now, people. The truth is finally out, the filters are completely off, and the city of Port Charles will literally never ever be the same again. Drop your thoughts in the comments before I completely lose whatever is left in my mind.